we're a town of like 25,000 people. There's so many beautiful things happening every day. There's so many beautiful moments. And it's like you need a butterfly net to sort of go around and capture them. Walls, then it just solved all these problems. For us, it was like finding a needle in a haystack. It's like we could breathe and we're like, oh my gosh. And in real time, you could see everything that was going on in town simply by collecting these local storytellers. What was really nice out of nowhere, because Walls likes to drop these little surprises, these little Easter eggs. Then you see that on the top of the feeds, there's the ability to post directly to each of these feeds. Now, not only do you have local brands, but you give the residents in Hastings a direct voice to this 24/7 feed. People that live here, that commute here, that work here, visitors, they can all participate in the conversation. And now it's all inclusive. And so instead of focusing on this left and right, red and blue, it's just one public meeting space that we're then able to be act not as a gatekeeper, but as like a filter to just let this pristine, high quality content of just valuable, timely information. You can't say enough about what it can do for a community like Hastings, Minnesota. We started working with Walls. What mattered most to us was the real stories and collecting them and then seeing how Walls was able to track that in real time. We're up to 100,000 local stories. That's crazy. That's so mind blowing. When you are in a position like we are, and we're trying to get our foot in the door, and you're going against some of these incumbents, these local radio stations and legacy newspaper brands, you have no choice but to come up with something that's 10 times better. You have to. It has to be 10 times better. And that was one of our differentiators. We have more stories that are sourced from local storytellers than anybody combined. There's no debate, and it's because of Walls. And when we're getting hundreds of thousands of stories, once again, we finally have this butterfly net. We're collecting all these beautiful moments. But then it's like, okay, now you're competing against everybody else's individual social media accounts where they have their own subscriptions, their own feeds, and they're all in their little bubble. It's like, how do you get them to pay attention to you? And it's a really daunting task. And with our 5 social media walls, and my gosh, we want like 10 or 20 of them. It's perfect world. But you're able to get this like bird's eye view of which stories are carrying the most weight. It's relevant information, it's authentically sourced, and it's all user generated content. We have nothing to do with it, to be honest. I mean, all we're doing is just trying to like serve it to them on a silver platter. So that's just been a complete joy. First time we tracked, we were like, wow, there's like 19,000 people that are accessing these stories through reach, through impressions, through views. And then we just checked in the last 28 period, we topped 30,000 local media companies that are looking to create a new standard in this 2.0, 3.0 world that we're living in. It's essential that your content is authentic, relevant, and user generated content. Walls solves these problems. Walls allows businesses to have authentic, relevant, and user generated content. And when that is your organic fundamental layer, beautiful things happen. I mean, and we're living proof.